What's going on, y'all? It's your man Pristine back with another video. Here to unbox for you the new HTC U11 Life. Now, what this is just basically a little bit of a scaled down version from HTC's main flagship right now, which is the HTC U11. And so with the U11, you've got all the, the premium hardware and software, all the top specs, Snapdragon 835 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of onboard storage. You get Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back. Beautiful device. There's a bunch of different color variations that you can get. Brilliant black, sapphire blue, inferno red, and I think glacial silver or something like that. But I know that blue sapphire and that solar red was, solar red is what it's called. My bad. I think I said inferno. Solar red is the one that had everybody going nuts. But you had dual speakers. You had a speaker built into the receiver and then another bottom firing speaker. HTC is pretty known for having dual speakers and just their overall audio on their devices, and so they definitely kept that going on the U11. You've got a Super AMOLED display on the U11, and it came along once it was released with a hefty $649.99 price tag. In some places, other places, I've been told that it's sold for $699.99. Killer cameras on the front and back of that device. I didn't pick it up because I didn't feel as though it was the most attractive phone. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it or the way that it performs. I just feel like if you're spending that kind of money on a device, you have to, cosmetically it has to appeal to you because you're going to be using that device and really, establishing a very, very intimate relationship with that device. And, you want to be appealed by it whenever you pull it out of your pocket. That's the only reason why I didn't pick up the U11. Well, this is the U11 Life, and HTC was like, you know what? Let's put out a more affordable, budget-friendly U11. Let's give the same, pretty much a very similar experience that you would get with the U11 on the Life at just a much more affordable price tag, which I can totally respect. So just before I crack it out of the box here, the specs that we got here on the U11 Life. All right. And the other thing too is the U11, the premium one, is 5.5 inches, Super AMOLED display. Here on the U11 Life, we've got a 5.2 inch full HD 1080p by 1920 pixel display, Super LCD, Corning Gorilla Glass. Now the Corning Gorilla Glass that's on the front of this device is not specified. I'm not sure if it's Corning Gorilla Glass 3, 4, 5. It's not specified. All right. We are running a octa-core Snapdragon 630 processor with 3 gigs of RAM. We've got 32 gigs of onboard storage. It does have an SD card slot, which you can expand the memory up to 2 terabytes. This is a nano SIM. It is not a dual SIM situation. We're running Android 7.1 with HTC Sense. Alexa from Amazon is built into this device, and so you've got 2 voice-activated assistants. You can either go with Google Assistant or you can go with Alexa, which is pretty dope. We've got NFC on board. We've got Bluetooth 5.0, which you typically don't see Bluetooth 5.0 on a more budget-friendly device. The cameras, we've got a 16 megapixel rear-facing camera on the front. We've got a 16 megapixel selfie camera. Both of these cameras are completely loaded with features. Pro mode, you can do just about everything, and these cameras are absolutely amazing. Before I bought this phone, which was yesterday, I'd already gone down to my local T-Mobile store, which is where this is being sold exclusively. And I had it in my hand a good 4 or 5 times just to really be sure that I wanted to buy it. So you can get this at your local T-Mobile store right now for $300. I couldn't pass it up. I mean, this is a remarkable value. Now, if you order this phone from HTC's website, you're going to pay a cool $349.99, which I think it's still worth that too. But if you can get it for $50 cheaper, I don't know about y'all, but I'm all about saving a dollar. You know what I'm saying? So if I can get it for 300, I'm gonna get it for 300 as opposed to 350. All right. Now, another cool thing about the HTC U11 here is, you remember the HTC or the U11 Life. The HTC U11 was the first phone that you could squeeze and have some type of functionality. So HTC implemented that here in the U11 as well. And why wouldn't they? I mean, this is a U11, you know, just a more price conscious one. So you have Edge Sense, which is what they call it, which you can squeeze the device and you can activate, you know, Google Assistant, you can activate Alexa, you can squeeze the device to activate the camera, you could squeeze the device to take photos or start video. You can program it to do a few different things, which I think is pretty dope. And actually, before the Google Pixel 2 and 2 XL had came out, I'm not sure if you guys had heard that Google had purchased a portion of HTC. Well, it was, they purchased the rights to obtain that squeeze feature, because you'll notice in the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL, you can squeeze those phones as well to activate similar functions. And so, you know, HTC was the originator of that. And so it's good to see that that technology is here on the U11 Life. All right, now, we do have a fingerprint sensor, which is on the, it's a front-facing fingerprint sensor, and I'll show you that once I crack it out of the box here. This phone is IP67 water and dust resistant. This is a very gesture-rich device. There are a lot of different gestures and things that you can do to activate certain things. We've got a Type-C USB 2.0 with quick charge. We've got a non-removable 2600 milliamp hour battery. Now, don't panic when you hear 2600 milliamps, because as I mentioned, this phone has a Snapdragon 630, which is a brand new SoC from Snapdragon. It's a brand new processor, right? Now, those of you that are familiar, the 600 series processors are oftentimes the processor that's in a lot of devices that have stunning battery life. We're talking about the Snapdragon 625, the Snapdragon 626. These are the processors that were in phones like the Moto Z Play, the Moto Z2 Play, the BlackBerry Key 1, and a bunch of other devices that just have killer battery life. So this is the brand new Snapdragon 630, which also is a very power efficient battery. Okay, so now on top of that, you've got, as far as battery optimizations go, you've got power and extreme power saving modes. And so there's a few different modes and things that you can tweak on this phone to really extend the battery life. One of the things that I always preach in my videos is, you know, you can do your own battery optimizations by just turning off things that you're not utilizing. You know, if you're not using Bluetooth, turn it off. If you're not using Wi-Fi, turn it off. If you don't have to have, you know, or be constantly notified about your emails every 2 seconds, turn off auto sync. You know, if you're not using GPS, turn it off. You know, location, turn those things off, and you'll notice a drastic difference in your battery life as the day goes on. You know, we've also got HTC Sense Companion, which is a technology that HTC has, where based on how you use the phone, it'll make different suggestions and things to really help out your experience with the device. And so the more you use it, the more it learns, you know, how you use it, and it, you know, suggests a lot of helpful things. And then, of course, it has, for all you people that are familiar with HTC, it comes with Blink Feed, which is their little news feed or whatnot. And it provides a lot of useful information, or just things that you program it to give you updates and information on. All right, so those are the specs. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this bad boy out of the box. Now, I wish that there were other color variants, but the only color variant that T-Mobile has is the blue sapphire, which is a pretty phone. But I would have definitely loved to get this in that solar red. Either that or the brilliant black. I mean, now, you guys already know how I do in my unboxings. I've already cracked the phone out of the box and, you know, got everything all set up. But here's the phone right here. I mean, now this is beautiful. Now, as you can see, just due to the glare on the light there, this is definitely going to be a fingerprint magnet. So I've got my case right here. This is a Survivor TPU case that I got. And of course I got the clear case just to show off that beautiful sapphire blue color. This phone is definitely a head turner. Definitely a head turner. Now we'll just go ahead and file the phone to the side real quick. And let's see what else we got in the box. Got the SIM, which don't need that. And here we are. We've just got the HTC U11 Life, the welcome start guide. What is this? Yeah, so we also get some Sonic noise canceling headphones. And, you know, for those of you that aren't aware, HTC, as I mentioned a little earlier in the video, they've always been known for just great audio quality and audio DACs in the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which I don't believe we have a headphone jack on this device. Do we? No, we do not. So yeah, so we've got it's a high quality listening experience, customized sound profiles, active noise canceling, and these come in the box. Okay. So we've got that and just some warranty information, you know, typical books and stuff that come in these phones. We'll go ahead and file those to the side. And now this little pocket right here, this little HTC thing right there, that is actually the SIM ejector, which is pretty neat. But I've got plenty of those, so I don't even bother taking those out. Here is our power brick. As you can see, HTC right there. And here are our headphones. And as you can see, these are these headphones, they plug right into the Type-C port on the bottom of the device. All right, and now here is the Type-C USB adapter. And here are some little earbuds to customize the Sonic headphones to your liking. All right, so I'll go ahead and get all this stuff back in the box. And I'll file all that stuff to the side there. Now, again, here's the device. We'll just go ahead and take a peek at the hardware. As I mentioned, this is a 5.2 inch display. Full HD, beautiful display here. You know, again, it doesn't have to be quad HD, you know, in my personal opinion. But again, as you see there, we do have the 5.2 inch display. We've got a little bit of a forehead and a chin down there, but that's okay. You know, I understand we're going to this whole bezel-less area, but not all phones have to be bezel-less in order for it to be a good experience. I mean, is bezel-less an attractive feature? Yes, it is, but, you know, hey, I can't expect every phone to be that way. And, you know, the value that you're getting here for $300, I mean, it's phones like this that make me question whether or not it's even worth buying flagship devices. I mean, you know, $600, $700, $800 up to $1,000 for a phone when you've got phones like this that do everything, and they do them in a hurry. You know, these I guess lower end processors, as you know, as I should say. Not that they're bad, but you know, obviously this isn't the Snapdragon 835, but these processors, I mean, they seem to be just as snappy. I mean, so, you know, $300, couldn't pass on it. Now, we've got our receiver here, which on the U11, on the premium version of this bad boy, there's a built-in speaker right there, and then you also got a bottom firing speaker. Well, that's one of the corners that they cut. They took that away, and now you just have the bottom firing speaker, which is down here on the bottom. So here is our LED light. As you can see, it's blinking right there. This is our 16 megapixel selfie camera here on the front. Now, on the bottom here, as you can see, we've got touch capacitive buttons. Those, the orientation for those cannot be changed. So, I mean, the back button is here on the left and your recents is on the right. And in the middle, that is our home button / fingerprint sensor, which functions extremely snappy, and it works 100% of the time, which is a beautiful thing. Now, go ahead and lock the device. Moving around to the right side of the device is where we've got all of our buttons. We've got the power and the sleep button right here. And then we've got our volume rocker right there. And if you can see the power and the sleep button, I mean, there are some ridges right there. I think you guys can see those ridges. I mean, there is a little rigidity right there. So if you've got this device in your pocket and, you know, you're reaching in your pocket to pull it out, you can just feel the buttons and you know exactly what you're pressing, which I always welcome that. Okay, now here at the top of the device, we've got a noise canceling microphone, and then we've also got the SIM tray right here, which it's not a nano SIM, or I mean, it is a nano SIM, but it's not a dual nano SIM tray. So we've just got nano SIM and an SD card slot for memory expansion, which is cool. And to the left of the device, it's just nice and smooth. There's nothing there. Now, on the bottom of the device, this is where things get a little interesting. We've got another noise canceling microphone right here. Now here in the middle, this is typically where the Type-C USB port is, but this is actually where the bottom firing speaker is. And then the Type-C USB port is here to the right, which is typically where the speaker is. So they did a little flip-flop. So the speaker, the bottom firing speaker is now in the middle on the bottom, and then on the right is the Type-C port for charging. Okay, I thought that was interesting of HTC to do it that way. Now, back of the device, again, as you can see, this is the beautiful sapphire color. Now, this device, as you know, as I mentioned, it's the scaled down version of the premium U11. This isn't covered in Corning Gorilla Glass. I'm not sure exactly what this material is. It's some type of plastic that is just coated with this blue sapphire paint. But that's okay because the phone is a featherweight. I mean, the phone is extremely lightweight. And especially after holding a device like the Essential phone, which we all know the build quality on that, you know, Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, titanium around the sides, and then, you know, a ceramic backplate. You know, even though that phone, it's small, but it, you know, it's got some heft to it. And so after holding that for a while and then you go and hold this, it's just like, wow, this is just, this is a featherweight for sure. HTC branding right there in the back, which shouldn't be a surprise. We've got our 16 megapixel rear facing camera with our dual tone LED flash right here. All right, now breezing around the software, as I mentioned, starting the phone up, customizing the fingerprint and everything was an absolute breeze. Getting Edge Sense set up, which is the ability to squeeze the device, wasn't complicated at all. I'll show that in a little bit. But for now, I just want to browse around the OS real quick. You guys can see that's pretty snappy right there. Just playing with the phone a little earlier. I've already got a bunch of apps open up, and so you can see that RAM management there. You can have tons and tons of applications open, and it doesn't slow the phone down at all whatsoever. And let's see. So as you can see, I mean, it's just literally going right back into a lot of these apps that I had open. There's my studio there. Oh, well, that's my bank app. Don't want to show you guys that. Google Photos. Very, very snappy device. Now, again, Android 7.0, typical setup there. As you can see where the brightness is right there, it's halfway. I believe that's like 55%. I'm not sure exactly what the amount of nits is that this phone gets to as far as brightness is concerned, but I know the phone, it definitely gets bright enough. Viewing angles are not difficult at all. You know, and I don't quite understand why people make a big deal about viewing angles. I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, what device you have. I mean, it can have oleophobic coating on it, which kind of reduces some of the glare and stuff like that. But if you hold it in direct light or sunlight, it's going to obscure your vision a bit. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, you know, just typical usage. I mean, people, if you're using your phone, obviously you're looking at it, right? So I don't know too many people that hold their phone this way or that way, or they try to, you know, operate their phone like this. No, I mean, you hold it straight in front of you so that you can see it. And so, but I mean, if you're in a lit area where there's a bunch of lights around and there's a little bit of a glare, you still shouldn't have trouble seeing this device. You can, you know, adjust the brightness or whatever, you know, if your vision is being obscured. All right, now, here you go. When you swipe all the way to the right, this is blink feed right here, which, somebody get crossed up. Okay. That's just showing some... Oh, get that out of here. Yeah, just showing some information on the Celtic game that's going on. Wow. But yeah, I'm not really too familiar with Blink Feed. I mean, this is actually um, my first HTC device that I've ever had, and so I got to play around with Blink Feed. But so far, so good. I mean, I'm liking it. It seems to be pretty useful, and it's solid that you could customize it to get a lot of the updates and different news bits that you want to get. Oh man, he just took off on him. Oh man, touchdown. That boy was out of there. My bad, Joe. I'm a huge football guy. So yeah, Blink Feed is pretty cool. I'm liking it so far. I'm looking forward to playing with it a little more and seeing what all it can do. Getting all my information in there. Now we do have an app drawer here, and according to the settings, I didn't see anything that will allow you to not have an app drawer. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to enjoy that. Me personally, it doesn't really matter. I mean, some devices, they come with an app drawer, others they do not. I don't really have a preference. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I keep all my applications organized, whether there's an app drawer or not. But I know some of you would prefer for there to be an app drawer, others not so much. But on the U11 Life here, there is an app drawer. And from what I've seen in the settings, I'm not sure if that's something that you can change and just have all of your apps on different home screens. But if we take it to settings here, again, just typical Android setup here. Go to more. This is where our NFC is. So there's confirmation that there is NFC on this device for all of you people that like to transfer data or use Android Pay to make transactions. And it's personalized fingerprint scanner, accounts and sync, location, security, accessibility, backup and reset. Get content from another phone, Google Edge Sense, display gestures and buttons, HTC Sonic with active noise cancellation, which is a feature that is enabled once you plug in the headphones into the Type-C port. And then, just real quick, just want to say something about like the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, because I know that in a recent video that I did, I made a comment that I think people just need to start conditioning themselves to start making the transition from 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks on over to Type-C. And some people seem to be a little bothered or a little annoyed by that comment, and I can understand that, especially if you're somebody that still uses the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I mean, and you're right. I mean, it is a tried and true process that works really well. So there may be a little bit of bias coming from me just because I am completely wireless with everything. I mean, so the transition from Type-C to me was effortless because I just don't use the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I'm wireless. Everything is Bluetooth with me. So I can understand how that can be a difficult transition, but I will say again, the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, in my opinion, is being phased out. And so I know that, some people, they will allow the lack of a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack to be a determining factor as to whether they do or don't get a device. And, I can't say that that's crazy to me. I mean, I can understand that. But I think it's good that a lot of these companies that are doing away with the headphone jack, they're at least putting the little dongle in the box. And I understand it's another accessory that you got to carry, but I mean, I think it's just a matter of time before you're not going to see 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks on any devices anymore. And so I think that people are going to be forced to make that transition. So I just feel like, if that's really what's to come in the future, why not start mentally conditioning yourselves to make that transition right now, so that when it happens, then it's not going to be that big of a surprise to you. So I think I agree with Marquez Brownlee. Type-C, all the things, man. Type-C, everything. Marquez, much love, my brother. Keep doing your thing. You're one of the people that inspire me to do this, man. I know you've done a few videos on Type-C, everything. Type-C, all the things. You know what I'm saying? I'm right there with you, boss. But yeah, so yeah, this is the HTC U11 Life. I gotta say, from using it, I've been using it for about a day now, and I'm loving it. It's a wonderful experience thus far. Can I recommend this phone so far? I mean, yeah, I mean, I've had a short amount of time with it, but you know, HTC is an extremely reputable company. They've been around for years. I know that this year they've put out, you know, two really, really good devices with the HTC U Ultra, and then they followed that up with their latest flagship that came out about 2.5 or 3 months ago, which is the HTC U11. And this is just the slightly scaled down version of the U11 called the U11 Life. And at a $300 price tag, and the fact that you're still getting a lot of those premium features and functions. All right, y'all, my bad, man. Some of these phones, there's like a cap on how long a video can be, and so you know it'll just cut off once you reach that cap. But what I was saying really quickly was I just want to show you guys Edge Sense. So what you do is you literally squeeze the phone, just give it a little squeeze, and it opens up the camera. Okay, now this is just the current setting that I have it set up to right now. You can set it to where it will open up, you know, Google Assistant or Alexa. I thought I had it set up to open Alexa, but it's also pressure sensitive as well. So it's like if you give it a light, well, maybe I need to squeeze it a little harder. Let me try that again. Oh, okay. Well, that's the camera. Okay, let me give it a light squeeze. Oh, okay. Well, that's still the camera. Interesting, because I know that I said it earlier to open up Alexa, and a couple of times when I squeezed it, it actually opened up Alexa. So when it comes out of the box, when you set it up, the default setting is for it to open up the camera. So maybe for whatever reason, it just went back to its default setting. So I have to tweak that again. But yeah, that is the Edge Sense technology, where you just give the phone a little squeeze and you can use it to open up Alexa or your Google Assistant or your camera, among other things that you can program it to do as well. Which, you know, is it gimmicky? Yeah. I mean, is this something that you'll use? I mean, you know, the fact that it's there, I mean, I'm so used to, you know, just long pressing or just setting up, you know, Google to where you just say, okay, Google, or I'll just hit the little microphone right there and just tell Google what I wanted to do, and it'll just bring up whatever information. But I mean, if all you got to do is squeeze the device to get it to come up, I mean, I guess that is, you know, a faster way of getting to it. And the case here that I've got, it is, it's also compatible with that squeeze feature. So if you put a case on the phone, it's not going to disable your ability to squeeze the phone so that you can get functionality of it. I mean, so that's really cool as well. So you don't have to feel as though if you get a case, then you're going to lose out on that feature. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the HTC U11 Life. Thanks for tuning in into the unboxing. You already know, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe if you have not already, to expose yourself to a vast array of videos that I've done like this one. And of course, keep it locked here on Pristine Mobile Tech for much more to come. All right, so trademark, you guys already know. Until the next video, please stay safe. Get spiritually fit with Christ if you haven't already, because we're definitely living in the last days. And keep it pristine in everything that you do. Stay tuned. Typical order of business. Now that I've got the unboxing done for you guys, I'm going to play around with this phone. I've already got my SD card slapped in here. So I'm going to get some photos, get some video footage, and then I'll be putting together the camera video. So stay tuned for that in the next few days here. And then about a week from today, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks or so of just some real hardcore use, then I'll be back with my full pristine review, and I'll let you guys know what my true thoughts after some real world usage is on the HTC U11 here. But I'm pretty excited. I feel like it's going to be good. So you guys keep it locked here and stay tuned. But in the meantime, keep it pristine in all you do. Peace. Catch y'all in the next video. Yeah.